Welcome to another Super Deluxe Edition unboxing video. Today we're going to take a look at David Bowie and Divine Symmetry. Now this is basically the Hunky Dory box set, or the Journey to Hunky Dory as they're calling it. It's very similar to a conversation piece actually which came out a few years ago, which was the Space Oddity David Bowie celebration. Here is a conversation piece, so it's the same, exactly the same dimensions. I mean, if you look at it here, you'll see it doesn't actually say anything here on the spine of conversation piece, which I think was a cock-up, but it does say David Bowie Divine Symmetry on the side here, just like it said David Bowie conversation piece. But on this side, conversation piece didn't say anything, so at least they've corrected that. This is from the Hunky Dory photo sessions, this image here. It doesn't say Divine Symmetry on the front, it's actually got a big quotation, which I think is from some kind of press coverage at the time. Magnificent outrage. And Divine Symmetry is written here. There's this sort of topsy-turvy thing going on where when this is sitting on your shelf, really you want it to be that way around. David Bowie at the top, Divine, that's the kind of standard way. If you do that, when you pull it out, David Bowie's upside down. And also this is on the back, not on the front, so it's kind of slightly weird. I think conversation piece was the same as well, so it takes a bit getting used to. Of course, with David Bowie's box sets, you're never really sure what you're going to get. You know, in 2007, this was the most deluxe version of the Young Americans reissue. It was like a CD and a DVD in a jewel case. 3 years later, this was the most deluxe version of Station to Station, which is a giant box set which had, you know, multiple, what did it have? 5 CDs, a DVD, 3 LPs, you know, so. And even recently we had a conversation piece, which was really great. But then the next one, which was The Man Who Sold the World celebration, which was called Width of a Circle, was this. So it's sort of all over the place, but at least this is kind of hinting at some kind of consistency. So maybe from now on we'll get these kind of releases. Okay, back to Divine Symmetry. So yeah, very much same as conversation piece. The only difference is you get 2 books here instead of 1. So we'll come on to the main book in a second. The supplementary book. This is quite similar to what they used to do in Paul McCartney deluxe sets. I mean, particularly thinking about Flowers in the Dirt and some of the other ones, but they became like libraries of printed material. So this is a recreation of a notebook, an original notebook, which is done quite nicely. Obviously these are all David Bowie jottings and scribbles and lyrics and chords and stuff. I mean, it's a pretty cool insight into, you know, what he was writing and what he was doing at the time. Very interesting. Probably won't look at it that often, but, you know, it's quite a nice little touch there. Hunky Dory, sort of working out what the spelling of Hunky Dory is going to be. So anyway, so that's the sort of supplementary book. But this is the main one here. And if you look carefully, I'll see if I can hold it into the light. I'll put my phone on this so you can see. But yeah, there's some spot varnishing going on here that actually says David Bowie Divine Symmetry, but it's only in the spot varnish, so you can't, it's not actually printed. That's quite a nice little touch in terms of the front cover. Image looks great. Obviously same sessions as the Hunky Dory cover image. There's an alternate on the back there. And then this set is very much about the number of discs, the audio content of those discs, and the quality of the book. So I'm going to put this book down now. Yeah, so this is a 4 CD and Blu-ray set, effectively. The discs come in their own little sleeves, and it works through the content from early demos to BBC sessions to the gig at Aylesbury, and then some alternates at the end. So it's good to see that they're doing it in these sleeves here. They're not just doing that thing where you're kind of shoving a disc into a sort of inner or outer cover page. This is quite similar to the conversation piece book in terms of goes through in a lot of detail about, you know, what's been going on. Bit of a timeline there, 1971. various quotes, some of this imagery, which I remember these pictures actually from one of the Ryko disc reissues. But yeah, a bit of a treasure trove of photos and images from the era. There's lots of pictures of acetates, tape boxes and all that kind of stuff. Effectively, this book takes you through what was going on, where the demos came from, you know, why he was doing radio shows, how the timeline works out in terms of when he was recording the album, when he was still writing songs. I mean, for instance, when he does Kooks on the John Peel show, which is on the second disc, I think, he'd only written it about 3 days before, which is pretty interesting. This goes through and gives us lots and lots of detail about that. Yeah, this is the John Peel concert, which is really interesting. That's in stereo and mono on what I think is the second disc. Let's better check that. Yeah, so the John Peel is on the second disc. The first disc is loads of early songwriting demos. But yeah, the John Peel concert's really, really interesting. Some quite interesting versions, and he's got this collective, you know, George Underwood, Dana Gillespie, Mick Ronson, Trevor Bott, you know, the beginnings of the Spiders from Mars. But it's a very interesting approach. You know, you got different people singing different songs. Yeah, I mean that photo is brilliant, with the green and everything. It looks really, really good. But yeah, there's sort of telegrams and press releases and you name it. The large format is so much better. I mean, I do like that width of a circle set. It was very affordable, but it would have been nice if it had been the same, because then we would have had the first 3 albums from the sort of classic era, if you like. The same format, but anyway. So yeah, this is the posters for the Friars Aylesbury gig. That's on the third disc. You've got some Bob Harris BBC sessions. Then you've got the Friars Aylesbury gig. These are good photos, actually. That photo there is particularly good. This is Bowie kind of halfway between the kind of long-haired Bowie of kind of 1970, early 1971, and the sort of Ziggy Bowie that emerges in 1972. So yeah, there's a whole section here of alternate takes, the Bow promo versions, and the like. So the 3 discs at the back here. So this is disc number 3. So this has Bob Harris sessions. I think these were recorded late in 1971. I think it was October. So the album had already been recorded at this point, so you kind of knew what he was doing. Then there's the live gig at Friars Aylesbury, which is 25th of September. Actually, it says there, doesn't it, that September, and it was broadcast in October. They've gone for the whole RCA type labels on the CDs here. The last disc here is, the last CD is alternate mixes. These are the Bow Pro mixes, which I always think are so close to the original. It's kind of, I can never hear any difference. But there are some alternate mixes on here. And there's stuff like Lightning Frightening, which has sort of got time shifted around. I think on the Ryko reissue, that was on The Man Who Sold the World. And there's some 2021 mixes here at the back. And then the Blu-ray, this is a Blu-ray, you see. You know, vaguely controversially, the Blu-ray is the only place you get the 2015 remaster of Hunky Dory, which was in the 5 Years box set. It's not on CD, which I can see why they might not have wanted to do that, because that album's been reissued so many times. It was in 5 years. There was a pitch disc recently, wasn't there? And before that, there was probably a kind of 45th anniversary coloured vinyl. It's been out so many times, they probably thought it might be taking the mickey a bit, putting it on CD yet again. But they have put it on the Blu-ray because there's so much capacity on the Blu-ray. So the Blu-ray is actually pretty good because you get the latest remaster of Hunky Dory, which is 2015. You also get this Divine Symmetry alternate journey through Hunky Dory. This is coming out on vinyl next year, but this is like the album made up of different mixes and alternates. That isn't on CD anywhere either. And you also get the Bob Harris sessions on Blu-ray. But you also get the 5.1 mix of Life on Mars and only Life on Mars, which is a bit of a bugbear, really. I mean, why they haven't put a spatial audio version of the album on this box set, I don't know. But not only is it only Life on Mars, but it's actually the 2016 mix of Life on Mars which I personally don't like at all. I don't think it really does anything. There's no drums in it, there's no guitars, it's just weird sounding. So you're not even getting the original mix in 5.1, you're getting the 2016 remix, which leaves half the song on the cutting room floor. So yeah, a little bit of a mixed bag, but it does seem a shame having a Blu-ray and not having a spatial audio, you know, Dolby Atmos mix or whatever. I think that there's clearly some issue in the background about spatial audio and Bowie, because there's been plenty of albums that have come out. Reality, you know, some of the older ones were done. Ziggy was done. Station to Station was done. Young Americans was done. So Bowie was clearly not averse to it. Yeah, that's a bit of an interesting one. But that's basically it. So you get the 5 discs, front inside cover, rear inside cover, and the tremendous book. I mean, this book is absolutely fantastic. Has to be said. So finally we're getting a deluxe of Hunky Dory. It's so long. It's so long. And when you think the Ryko disc one was 1990, it must have been. So it's taken 32 years to reissue Hunky Dory, because there haven't been any since then, which is pretty, nothing with any extra tracks or expanded. So that's pretty incredible. So overall, fantastic job with this. Long overdue. I have been listening to it, and the extra tracks are fascinating. Really interesting historical content. So I hope you've enjoyed this look at David Bowie, Divine Symmetry, basically the Hunky Dory box set. This is available now. It came out a little bit earlier on this year. I think it was November it came out, wasn't it? If you've enjoyed this unboxing video, why not subscribe to the Super Deluxe Edition YouTube channel for more great physical music unboxed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time.